Why can't we have no clothes on? It's open. Bum, bum, bum. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I know I'm looking like a hostage on my way to the barbershop this morning. Shout out to my man Odis Bellinger for having an outstanding scope in terms of who has it wrong, men or women. And so if you're not following Odis Bellinger, greatness for you, greatness in you, please do. And then we just had a scope this morning that talked about do men have it wrong? Actually, we do. And the reason why men have it wrong, good morning. The reason why men have it wrong is that it starts with us. And unfortunately, I couldn't type, good morning, I couldn't type all the things that I wanted to type, of course. We have it wrong because as men, it is our job to put things in place and then look to connect with women who are going to enhance us and who we can enhance. But sadly, because so many men weren't taught and they don't have a connection to God, they take from their women, they take from other men, and they're in a defensive posture pretty much every day. And so they don't know how to actually connect with each other. They don't understand that the support and the protection comes from being connected to each other. So as men, we have this belief. We have to do it alone. And so if you don't believe in God, I understand. If you're not connected to God, I don't believe that's the case, I understand. But that's not where my head is at. We have to understand that a position of leadership comes with the understanding of who we are leading. See, a leader is just not the person out front. Then everything is all screwed up without, exactly. But a lot of people don't understand that. And I find it funny that even some of the people who claim that they don't have a connection to God will call out God's name when something is negative. So inside them, they can't even resist that. But externally, they want to say that. But that's a different scope. But as men, what has to happen to change the current situation is men have to reach out to other men and get them first to acknowledge their greatness. So they have to show them that greatness in their own behavior. Sure, fire away the question. They have to show them what that greatness is. And then they have to also show them what the greatness is when connected to their significant other. Because the greatness in the two of them, they become something that either one of them couldn't do on their own. And you have to actually want to be connected to your significant other. You want to be connected because when you and your woman are in place, there's no greater force on the planet. But unfortunately, we don't have enough examples, so we don't believe it. Or we don't believe it's possible. And we've made it something so far removed that it's like Santa Claus. A mythical situation. First men, most men need to become humble. Of course. You can't lead without being teachable. You can't lead without teaching something because people are going to want to know where they're going. People are going to want to know what they're doing. And when things get difficult, you have to be amenable to explaining to someone what the situation is. And once you motivate someone, well, then they're willing to go the way with you. And it can't be out of fear. It can't be out of mystery. But unfortunately, when a lot of brothers, the way that they do it, they keep so much in mystery that their women have no idea what is needed. And then they weren't taught how to express themselves, how to openly allow their emotions to be seen. Many have been taught that their emotions are weaknesses. And I say this all the time. Tears are not weakness. Tears are reactions to emotions. I love my wife. I love my child. And the thought of something happening to either one of them or any of my children is going to bring emotion, which is going to bring tears. Does that make me weak? Not at all. But I have to be comfortable with me. to be able to lead her. And then there's going to be times I have to be comfortable to let her lead because her gifts may require that she lead. And I have to humble myself to go, baby, you got this. And I also have to humble myself sometimes to sit and listen to my children, because there may be things that they're connected to that I may not understand initially, but I think a lot of this needs to come from women too. Oh no, it's connected to both. But as the man in the front who's attempting to connect with a woman and vice versa, the man has to get himself, combativeness doesn't need to be. Okay, why do people see men weak when they have emotions like No, you're not. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. The question is it depleting your masculinity? See, I'm a sensitive dude, and I put it in my writing. But my sensitivity does not take away from my masculinity. My masculinity doesn't decline. But unfortunately, we have women that are looking at one particular thing. We have men that don't know how to be more than one particular thing. And it is affecting the overall good. We have to strive to be better with each other. We have to strive to enhance each other first by enhancing ourselves. You have to look to enhance yourself. If you're by yourself right now, male or female, look to continue to enhance yourself. Knowledge, physical, spiritual, continue to enhance yourself. So when you get with the partner, well, you have to express yourself somehow, because if you don't express yourself in a positive way, it will seep out in the negative. I express myself in my poetry. I express myself in my writing. I express myself when I speak. And the reason why I have taught myself how to express myself when I speak, I know the children that I teach, I know my wife, I know people that I go and speak to when I am asked to come and speak need to hear what I'm saying, but they need to see the emotion connected to what I'm saying. And we need to disconnect from the net unless we're doing live streaming like I'm doing right now, so we can start to get a better feel for who we're dealing with. We have allowed technology to take the place of actual conversation. You have a person saying, well, let's get together and have a meeting. Okay, what time are you going to get on Blab? What time are you going to get on Google Hangout? What happened to let's get together and have some coffee? So I can sit across from the person, if you can. Now, if you're in different parts of the country, well, then live streaming works. But the idea is that we need to get back to physical connections to each other so we can start to learn what's wrong. Because here's what I always say to folks: when you get too caught up in technology and you get too caught up in this, the cell phone. I can text you, not having a good day today. You text back, okay, well, it's going to be all right today. But there's a difference when we can live stream and I'm sitting there and I'm like, not having a good day today. You can automatically see the despair in my face. Now, your reaction to what you see changes what you say. But if you only go by what I type, I can tell you I'm having a wonderful day, and you don't know any different. So if we don't unplug, or if we don't use the technology in a way that allows us to be able to connect with each other, there's things we miss. And as men, I believe it starts with our godly connection. Then when we have ourselves right with God, when we turn and choose the women that we choose, it should be women that reflect the thoughts that we have. So when we're together, we have a commonality that we can build on. Now, if you're not a believer in God, okay, listen, a lot of people aren't. I ain't got a problem with that. You still should find a significant other who has the commonality that you do, so you have a common base, a foundation that is necessary, and then the two of you can go forth to build whatever you're going to build, because then your children, if you have them, would be part of that commonality. Now, I see there's some people on here, well, I don't see any hearts. Come on now. So too early in the morning not to get no hearts. And I jumped on because I wanted to see what's going on. We're going to have a heart party over here. And there's more than one. There we go. There's more than one color hearts. Let's go. Forgot I got to become a heart pimp early in the morning. Let's go. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Keep those hearts flowing over there. Two colors. I see about 6, 7 people on. Don't make me have to raise this screen up and see who's on. Start shouting people out. No, but seriously, we have to, and also men. We have, that's right, heart pimping. Yes, sometimes you got a heart pimp. You give me them hearts. But the first thing, too, is we have to actually acknowledge that our women are our equals. And scripture actually talks about that. Physically, no, but emotionally, spiritually, and every other aspect. Because it is, when you watch a woman with a child, when she's nurturing a child, you have to marvel at the way children and their mothers interact. I love watching my little girl and my wife interact, because I can't get that. I got the daddy thing, and that's cool, but you have to watch that. But then there's times I have to step in and assert myself in what's going on, because it is the partnership that we have that is allowing my daughter to grow in a whole manner. And that is what is so important, is that you have to keep the whole picture. That I might have to be the disciplinarian because that's what I'm built for, and my wife is the nurturer. And then there's times I'm the nurturer, my wife is the disciplinarian. She needs to be more disciplinarian than she needs to be, but it's okay. But we need that. Some men have got it in their mind, I'm just going to leave the kids with the woman and that's it, I'm going to go do whatever. No, those children need to interact with you also. Those children need to hear you say, I love you too. Those children need to be pulled up and cuddled and held and whispered in their ear and rubbed their noses and play with them, so they can get that emotional connection to both parents. And it starts with us being that example to our women, to our children, and then expecting it to get it back. We have to be open, and we have to learn how to do that. And it's not something that it should come naturally, but because of all the outside influences that influence behavior, that influence speech, we have started to drift so far away from what the family could look like, because we're shaping it on what television and videos is telling us how family should be. And we have to get away from that. And we have to get back to looking at and considering what that family unit can be and the power in that. You know, there was a time that, especially as folks of color, it was the family unit that sustained us in some very nasty and negative times in this country's history and in our history. And we overcame that. We're not dealing with anything like that right now that people can perceive, but in actuality, we still are in that same mentality with a lot of things. In many of our communities, because of economic situations, we're still in a type of bondage. But to overcome that, we have to then look inwardly, look at each other, look at our women, look at our husbands, look at our children, and say, we need to close our doors and fix what's wrong, protect each other. We need to stop buying $200 shoes when we don't have the community foundation that we should. We need to talk to others and say, well, let's buy $60 or $100 shoes and take the other $150 and let's start putting into our infrastructures, so our infrastructure is not controlled by those who don't look like us. We have to start reteaching the foolishness that has been taught to us and what has been given to us. And the one thing folks have to understand, I'm an educator. So when I walk into a classroom, fix it, Lord, when we need makeovers as people. Yes, but we have to be the conduits for the Lord. We have to be the examples. We have to be the bearers of the Lord's light. The Lord is going to be who he is, and the Lord is going to make the demands that he has made on us. Hello from Russia. We have to be the bearers of that light when we go into our communities and in our relationships and fix it. And we can't keep looking externally for help. Hello from Brazil. We have to be the fix. We have to be the solution. And as you know, some simple terms say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So what that means is we can't drop our kids off at school and not have an idea what's being taught. We can't be in relationships and create children if we don't even know what type of, well, that's the other part of it too, that men have to guide men. And I talk about that all the time, is that we have to be the living examples. When I go out and show people what my wife and I are about, it is because, not that I want you to glorify me, not that I am vain. It is because I want you to see what a real relationship looks like. When I go out and sell my books, it is because I put my truth and my dirt in my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, because I want you to see that I was a misogynistic whore. I want you to know I was as nasty as a lot of men that's out there now. But the reason why I'm not that man now is because of God and my wife. So when you go, how is that possible? Well, first thing you need to do is read, because I don't have time to retell you my whole life. But once you read it and you now have questions, I can answer those questions. I have to make myself available, because the other thing too is we can't then run off once we figured out for ourselves. That's a form of brain drain, where brothers in the community get enlightened and then disappear. No, bring your ass back and explain to some of these young brothers, explain to some of these older brothers. My mission is to get older brothers to come back home and fix these damn relationships that they destroyed. What's happening is television and modern society has said, discard your previous relationship, start the new relationship. So we have, I'm sorry, I apologize if I'm cursing, if I offended anyone. I'm sorry. It's not my, what did I say? Oh, Ash, I'm okay. I apologize. I didn't realize if that's offensive to anybody, I definitely apologize. But we have to bring our butts home. I'm serious about what I'm saying. Is that the situation is that we have now discarded previous relationships. We have felt that the mother that we had children with here is not important, so we're going to leave her because we're upset with her, start a family over here, and then don't go back and heal the family that we started over here. Can't do that. And one of the things that I realized in dealing with family court and dealing with young men who are in family court situations is that the system that we have in place wasn't designed to deal with men who have multiple babies all over the place, because that's not the way it was perceived. So we're destroying ourselves by not at least going out and trying to explain to older and younger men, you can't keep creating these families that you can't take care of, because the damage to the future is almost impossible to eradicate. We have to start holding the people in our immediate circles to hard standards. We have to start, just like when just now with someone telling me I'm cursing. If that's offensive, we have to learn how to apologize. Well, that's a sad, thank you, baby. That's a sad way of thinking when a lot of men believe that they need two women. The energy and the work that it requires to love one woman is more than enough. But unfortunately, it becomes a sense, a badge of honor to be the player. But I was that dude, and that's the reason why I wrote the book. In my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, I talk about older dudes actually encouraged me to be disrespectful to women, because they said that's how I get the credit that I need. That if I'm betting down women, they cheered me when I was with various women and when I would do different things sexually. And sex that became my focus instead of me growing as a man. So it took me destroying myself and lives along the way to realize that that's not the way it was supposed to be. The problem is, again, going back. First of all, let me back up a second. The first thing you have to do is stop. You have to stop the negative behavior. And I always equate it to being a drug addict. You must cut the use of the drug first. Heal yourself from the need of that drug, and then figure out what your life is going to be without it. So as a whore, and as many men out here who think they need multiple women, first you have to remove yourself from that feeling. You don't need many women. If variety is what you need, that's why you have a conversation with the woman that you're with, and y'all spice it up in any way that you can in your house. Second is, if you have children, they become your first priority. Fix your situation with them, because you're creating an environment for that child to go out and do some of the same foolishness that you were doing, because they do not have the guidance that is necessary. And understand your responsibilities. And then it is a demand that you go out and find other brothers and help them. You cannot keep this information to yourself. You cannot keep your success to yourself. You cannot keep your knowledge to yourself. It is your design focus to go out and find other brothers who are lost and bring them to the light. Because if you think sitting there with your own successes is the way it's supposed to be, you are foolish. Wow, that's exactly. You know what? A lot of men come up with weak excuses I was about to curse. Oh, you know what? I apologize. I was about to say something. You know, I listen to a lot of weak excuses from men about why they cheat. They cheat because they're empty on something inside. Men cheat because there's something missing in them, and it either wasn't put there because they don't have a connection to their own father, or they do not understand what being a real man is, because they have been connected to so many external forces that don't actually talk about being real men. So they go out and destroy themselves. Exactly. Thank you. Because of that emptiness. A real man looks inwardly. He looks at what is missing and he fixes that first. Then he looks for a partner who has got herself focused also, because he knows that together, the two of them become a force that is going to be very difficult to topple. Look at all the relationships that you think are tremendously positive. It is because as a unit, they do not believe the world can do anything to them. And I can honestly tell you, I'm not just saying this as some random talk. My wife is sitting a few feet away from me in this hotel room. I didn't say, baby, could you go get me something to eat? She went down to get something. She brought it back because she knew what I was doing here. It is a connection. And it would have been reversed if she was still sleeping. I went to go get breakfast, because it is an idea that together, we are stronger than any of the forces around us. And we're going to need that when those forces now fight back to try to tear up what we have, because you cannot have God without the devil. You cannot have good without evil. So you can't sit here every Sunday, call out to a God that you say you believe, and not believe that the devil is not working hard. Because then what would you need the God for? And I said this in a scope earlier, or a couple days ago. It's easy to be a religious person when there's nothing online. And for me being a Christian, it's easy being a Christian when you ain't got to face the devil. Easy. Easy to be a righteous individual when you ain't got to face true evil. But in a solid relationship, you're going to face folks who are not in a solid place. So they're going to try to tear your relationship up simply because they want parents go, well, okay, sign out and try to sign back in, Brother Odis. You have people that their pain is so great, they want to see you hurt. And we hear it all the time, misery loves company. Please understand that these statements come from spiritual connections. Misery does love company. There are people that when they're hurting, they want you to hurt. When they're hating, they want you to hate. How many times has a friend said, you're cool with her? I hate that. And expect you to hate. And here you have to try to explain to them, I don't have a beef with that man. I don't have a beef with that woman. And then they make you try to decide. Well, if you're going to be cool with him, you can't be cool with me. Negro, listen. You can't dictate to me who I'm cool with because you got problems. Let's talk about what you're upset about. And let's heal that. But folks don't want to hear that. And in a relationship, you got to understand that people see a couple happy. That hurts some people because it reminds them of what they don't have. It reminds them of who might have hurt them. It reminds them of some things that are negative, and then they can't hear or see the positives in what they're looking at. So we have to be open enough to reach out to those people. This is what my wife and I do. We have a Making Marriage Cool movement. And the Making Marriage Cool movement is designed to show that marriage is cool. Not like clothes that you just, oh, I want to put on red today. I want to put on blue today. No, your marriage is a sustaining life force that flows through both of you, that enhances and pushes you to levels that you never thought possible, because both of, there it is, you just stole the word, both of you are in a partnership. You cannot allow previous pain and foolishness to convince you that that's not possible. The other thing is, we're reachable when people have questions. We're not distant. So someone can reach out to my wife on Facebook. Someone can reach out to me. We're also fluid like water. You can't jump in the water and try to block what my wife and I do, no matter what you do. So if some chick jumped on right now and said, oh, your husband did X, Y, and Z, she would go, really? Okay, tell me how. You want me? I'll call him and we can talk about this. So you also have to make sure that your gates are covered all the way around. And if I'm drifting too far one way, my wife says, hey, what you doing over there? And if I see my wife not doing something that I think is not going to, wait, what you doing there? Come on, we got to get focused on whatever. We own a business together. We bowl together. We do everything together. And then when need be, she'll say, baby, I'm going out tonight. Enjoy. No worries. If I say I'm going out tonight, no worries. Enjoy. Have yourself a fucking ball. Maturity, thank you for the word again, maturity breeds confidence. And confidence in a relationship shows others exactly what they need to see. But as men, we have to put that in place for ourselves and then connect ourselves to God, ground ourselves in God, and then search for women who are going to be equal partners. And then together start looking to heal others around you in whatever form. I don't care if it's writing. I don't care if it's on the radio. I don't care if it's here on Scope. I don't care what it is. You have to then extend that. Yeah, well, he has issues with himself. My ex, after 16 years, is still upset. 16 years. Why? Because I'm happy? Because I went on to more without you than I was with you? I'm not going to stay she believes that. I can't tell you what she believes. I just know there's a lot of anger there. But I am a good father to my sons. And the sad part is nothing that she has tried has worked, but yet she still holds on to anger. But you know what I do? I pray for her. I pray for her. I don't say anything. I stay quiet. When I come to the door, I don't even come in the house. Tell the boys, come on outside, and we go where we got to go. Because I'm not going to add to someone's dismay. My job in life is to try to heal people's pain. But rule number one, and please listen to this. If you throw a life preserver out to someone in the water and they throw it back with anger, you don't throw it back. You go find somebody else to save. Even God didn't save everybody, and nor do I try. I attempt to give it to everyone. But if they don't want it, thank you. As God said, if you deem them unworthy, take back your blessing, kick the dust off your heels, and keep it moving. And that's what I do. Because we cannot allow ourselves to stay in position fighting with someone to give them good news, to give them healing, to give them the light, to give them understanding, and they don't want it. Because then you're wasting time on somebody who could really use it. We also have to ground ourselves into not making it about ourselves. Always understand you are a representative of. You are not the it. You are not whatever. You are the representative of God. You are the representative of your marriage. You are the representative of truth. You are the representative of knowledge. You are the representative, and you could wear all those hats. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Where's those hearts, guys? I told you, to keep this heart party going, man. All y'all doing is listening. Let's go. Keep that heart party going over there. See, now I got to put my heart pimp hat back on. You know what? Right here, right there, where that little dude is, whatever. They need to make that dude a little chocolate color, too. I'm trying to help my ex who is Catholic, needs deliverance, and won't reach out to other religions. If you've offered and he doesn't get it, stop. Pray for him and let God work on him. Stop trying. You can't get him or her, I'm sorry. You can't get them to do anything that they can't see. So what you do is you stop and you pray and allow the Lord to take it. It may not be for you to do. It may be like me. He may or she may need to come in contact with me, or a brother like Odis, or a sister like Regina Poole. Because sometimes the reason, and I say this, and I'm glad you actually brought that up. Sometimes you cannot fix the pain in someone else if you were part of the cause of their pain, if they believe that. So you have to then distance yourself from them and allow someone else to fix their pain. He can't get remarried if he's still the same dude. He can't remarry you if you're still the same dude. So what you have to do is actually say to him, be honest with him, even if it hurts. Now, listen, truth is like medicine to me. We don't play with it, you give it. A doctor don't play with medicine, he gives it to you. He don't say, would you like some medicine? No, he's going to tell you need to take this. Truth has to be given the same way. You simply say to him, I cannot remarry you, because you're not where I need you to be my partner. When you get there, I'll gladly consider marriage with you again. What you talking about? I'm telling you my truth. And I'm not going to discuss this because what they want to discuss it for is because they want to pick it apart. No. Doctor don't sit there and play with the medicine, say, well, I'm thinking about it. No, in your mouth, take it now. Go on, now I got other patients. And the reason being is a hurt heart will keep pulling and keep pulling and keep trying to shredding because that pain, they believe that's the only way to heal that pain. The only way to heal a heart is the connection to another one. Whether it's being connected to God, whether it's being connected to a strong partner, or being connected to a strong significant other. See, this is where friendship comes in. A hug is actually you taking the strength of your heart to heal someone else's heart. See, people didn't know that. And if you read that anywhere else, that was stolen from me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because that's actually what I try to do. If you hear that from somebody else, I'm going to say it again. A hug is actually another person lending the energy from their heart to heal your heart. And when I work with kids, I never take that out of the picture. When I hug a child, it is because I'm letting a child know, I got you. When a child is in disarray, I got you. I don't care. I've had to come up when I was a dean in high school. I've seen big grown dudes wilding out. I'd come and I put my arm around. I got you. Because I now got to take the energy from my heart to calm his or her heart down. Why do you think we get so out of pocket? And then when you sit, here's another trick. Can you ever take calls if somebody might need? Oh yeah, listen, if you go to my website, www.bravenpublishing.com, my voicemail number to the office is there. Also, I do private counseling. I do it via Google Hangout or Skype, where we can sit and talk. I set up counseling sessions. Phone conversations I'll have, but I really don't like as much because I like to be able to see the people that I'm talking to. Thank you so much for the hearts, because I want to be able to help you directly, and I need to be able to see if your facial expressions, because again, here's I'll give you a perfect example. And when I was a dean, one of the things that other teachers couldn't figure out is how I could deal with problems. This is why. You ask a kid, everything okay? Yeah, man, everything's good. Now, here's what you heard. Yes. Yeah, man, everything's good. But look at the head. Look at the position. No, they're not calm yet. No, they're nowhere near where they need to be. They're just telling me what I want to hear. But if I was on the phone, they could figure out to say, no, I'm good, Mr. B. Everything's okay. No, I need to see you. I need to see that your shoulders have slumped back down, and I need to see that your shoulders is up or your head is down. I need to see that your eyes is off to the side because you're thinking about lies to tell me. I need to see if your body language is one of confidence or you're battered somewhere, because then I need to fix that. And as adults, we need the same thing. And so this is why with church has missed the mark with a lot of folks. You miss what we do. Yeah. Oh, because exactly. Church is supposed to be open every day. And church is supposed to have outreach out into the world every day. Because do you know that most people do not know that the church is supposed to be where you go when you have problems? Really? Yes. I'm studying human services now. I'm working on my second master's degree. And there was actually a time when the church had the leadership role with government with dealing with the poor. It was, they got money from regular folks and went out and gave it to the poor. Went out? Gave it to the poor? But we have missed the mark because we're sitting in church waiting. Oh, I'm sorry. Braven, www. Tiff, you want to jump? You got your what's name on? All right, my wife will probably jump on and put the link on. It's www.braven, BRAVIN, publishing.com. And also, if you need to reach me directly, my email is mainoffice@bravenpublishing.com. Also, let me say this. I am coming to Detroit to hang out with my man, Odis Bellinger, June 4th at Wayne State University. Sister Regina Poole will be there. And these are the type of things we're going to discuss. This is what I'm bringing to the table when I come to Detroit, because I want to come to really help and restore and fix relationships. So June 4th, Building Better Relationships Conference, I'll be there simply because I want to be there to help. Now, back to what I was saying is, We have to, thank you, darling. That's my lovely wife. See, that's the partnership right there. She understands what I'm doing, so she jumps on. This is this is the example that I'm talking about. But now, what we have to do, hello, black brother. Okay, I put the power fist up. I hope this doesn't turn into a smooth block situation. But we we have to be the examples. And when I counsel, when I talk, you're welcome. When I talk to folks, it is with the goal to help you. But here's my thing. Even though you might pay for a session, if I believe that you're wasting my time, well, hey, listen, you know what? Send me an email. Maybe we can set something. I'll come to Memphis. I love to travel. I'm in Delaware now. I live in New York. I love to travel and I love to converse with folks because that is what has to be. But now let me get back to the church a second. The church is a wonderful place, but unfortunately, churches have missed the mark for this reason. If people do not know that the church has the services that it has, then what good are the services? What good is a food drive if the people who are starving on the streets don't know to come and get it? Because I believe, like Jesus, we don't wait for people to come to us. We go to the people. I am working on, thank you so much. Hey, baby. I am working on new curriculum for Bible study because I believe the church is where we should be conquering a lot of the problems of the world today and inviting our young folks to come to have those conversations. But too many old saints are in the way saying, you don't discuss that in church. You don't have that type of conversation. You don't play that type of music in here. Yes, you do, because we're not playing it to glorify it. We're not playing it to dance to it. We're playing it so when I play it, and then I take the lyrics, and I take scripture, and children and myself can have a conversation on what's being said, we are arming them with the power of understanding of godly word. And if you do not balance it out, they do not know how to then give that to their friends when they go out. And parents cannot be expected to give that when parents are not studying daily on how to be able to deliver the word. There are fivefold ministries. Mine is teaching. And it's crazy because we keep saying to folks, come to the church. To get what? Entertainment? Sounds great. I love great singing. I break out in tears when I hear great gospel singing. But is that saving lives? Because you got people who are in trouble who don't even think about turning to the church. That's our failures. That means we're failing God when people don't even know that godly folks is out here to save them. That's our failures. That's why when you read scripture and Jesus and God says, I don't know you. Because you didn't feed me. You didn't come and visit. Key word. You did not come and visit me. You didn't help me. Y'all get me excited. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to have to jump off this scope. I'm getting riled up this morning. Because I meet church folks and it drives me crazy. Because if you're really about helping, it is not about the building. Jesus was only in a synagogue twice in 33 years, twice, when he was younger and when he was older. Where did he spend the rest of those years? With people. And if he is the focus of our walk, then how we are not more like him, but more like the Pharisees and Sadducees. Please explain that to me. And if you don't know who the Pharisees and Sadducees are, then you got to open up your book because you should know. Reach out to me. If I have a reason to come to Fort Worth, let's go. I'll come. Listen, I'll come anywhere if we set it up. Now, I'm a professional. As long as I can get more than some chicken, we can talk about it. I'll come and speak wherever. But let me tell you something. A lot of folks don't want me to come and speak. A lot of churches have said to me, well, your anti-church message or the fact that you have a history connected to sex. I've actually had churches turn me away. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. I have actually had churches because my message is opposite what a lot of churches are preaching. So they don't want me there because they don't want people riled up asking some of these questions. Just like why Revelations is not taught more if these are the end days. Why are we not arming people with an understanding of what Revelations actually explains in the destruction of mankind and the raising up of our enemies and the war that is actually going to come? But we don't talk about it. Revelations is not discussed because some people don't want to say to other folks that some of you in here are going to hell. They don't want to tell the truth. And I don't have a problem with churches turning me away. You know why? Because Jesus got turned away from church. And I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. I'm comparing myself to my mentor, because Jesus Christ is my mentor. So if my mentor got turned away, how can I get upset that I'm turned away? Because then that means, what is a Christian? Christian means Christ-like. So if I'm Christ-like and I'm getting turned away, then I'm right where I need to be. But I use my scopes. I use my books. Like my latest book is called Lukewarm Saint. It's inspirational fiction that talks about how, good morning, that talks about a young teacher who's torn between his love of the flesh and his spirit. And he has two friends, one that's saying you need to get with the church, and one friend that's saying, man, you bed down as many women as you want. And he has a mother and grandmother that's trying to explain to him, please don't be like your father. Please don't be like your grandfather, because their lust for women destroyed them. And the reason why I wrote the book was to create conversation with saints. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you following me. And again, you can come by my website, www.bravenpublishing, and you'll see my works and how to reach me and everything. So I definitely appreciate you. Have a wonderful day today. And I wrote the book because my goal was to get folks, lust will always destroy. If it's not corralled, you have to catch it, and because it's a form of coveting. And folks don't realize that. I wrote the book. Thank you. Be blessed also, sister. I wrote the book with the idea of creating conversations about choices, but I wanted to shape the story in an enjoyable fashion so you're not feeling preached to, but you're actually being questioned. What will it take? And thank you so much for the hearts. See, I didn't have the heart pimp no more. I appreciate the hearts. I see multiple colors. I appreciate that. Because I wanted to be able to create something that can get past some of the church doors and allow me to reach people who need this question. And so far, the saints that have read the book actually say, wow, I didn't even realize it was Christian fiction because I enjoyed the story so much. That's cool. I don't even tout it as Christian fiction. It's inspirational fiction, because my conversation with myself is, how can I get individuals to open up to me to allow me to heal what I know the devil is attempting to destroy? And as an educator, after 20 years of teaching, I'm actually leaving teaching this year. I'm moving to Delaware, and I'm basically starting over. And this is why I went back to grad school, and I'm in grad school now, because I want to be able to do more for people, but I need more. Okay. The first book is From Gigolo to Jesus. That's my memoir. That's actually my testimony. And my latest book is called Lukewarm Saint. Lukewarm Saint. They're both on my website. Honey, you still on? All right, put on my website on the scope and the titles of my books. And what I do with my scopes and what I do when I travel and speak is I keep it real. And in keeping it real, it means that I know I might come off offensive sometimes to church folks. I'm not trying to be. But as I said to you earlier, truth is medicine. And medicine just has to be given. And we can't sit in church on Sunday all day, and then people are dying Monday through Saturday. We can't jump up and down and call out to a God that we love and then not extend that love of that God to others who don't know that God. We have to be the examples of, Man in Transition is poetry, by the way. We have to be examples of the very faith that we claim, even if it means it's going to step on the toes of those who have taken the faith and wrapped themselves in it like a cloak. Scripture is to be applied. And I am about applying Scripture, not shouting and quoting it. Because you can quote all the things that you want. It is a foreign language to someone who has never picked up a Bible. And sadly, and I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I have had this conversation, and knowing me, probably 45, 50 minutes, that's me. I have yet to give you an actual scripture. I've given you implied scripture. But I haven't sat here and said, and then Samuel 2, and then, no. Because as soon as you do that, you turn people off because they have already disconnected from what they believe church is doing. So what you have to do is you have to, like what we do with children, you put the medicine in some applesauce, but they still got to get it. You sit them down first, make them comfortable before you give them that needle. What's the doctor do? He don't just run up on you with the needle. He might even play with you a little bit. How you doing today? Oh, what the? Yeah, you needed to get that. And I don't even care if you're an adult. I had a problem with my finger, and I knew he had to cut me, and I was like, hold on, man. He said, Mr. Belvin, hold on. Oh, is that your phone? And when I turned my head, whoa, I was like, yo, what you? He says, it's already done. So I believe we have to give it and not worry about who's offended by the message, and then deal with their offense. Explain to them why it is what it is. And thank you so much. And unfortunately, a lot of churches have said no to me. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. And some people say, well, your book needs to be at my church. Your church don't want my book. I had literally had a church tell me, we want you to come and speak, but here's what you can't speak about. Really? Keep your money. Thank you for the invite, but I cannot come. I wish you well in whatever you do. Because if you're going to tell me, oh, God is up, listen, God has opened his door right here. Listen, this is us. This is church right here. God's sitting right here now. Talking about, go ahead, son, that's what I told you to do. We have to get back to what God wanted, not what man wants. I'll give you an example of how drugged out church people are on themselves and not God. You meet someone, you have a conversation. You let them know that you're a child of God. You let them know that you're a Christian. You let them know that you've been saved since whatever. Here's the question that comes right after. So what church you go to? Wait a minute. I just confirmed with you. It's hard for me to say how often I'm on. I say once a day. I'm not on once a day. Stop, honey. I'm on like every couple of days. And the times vary. It really when my spirit is moved. I am a non-conformist, so I listen. I might scope at night. Most times it's in the afternoon when I get off from teaching. But I scope 2 to 3 times a week, maybe 4. Just follow me, and it'll come up. I'm on. See, you just got yourself smooth blocked. Uncle Phil got one. Anyway, so and he might have been just being funny, but I'm not in the mood right now. Okay, but you got to come on and say good afternoon. You got to come on and say good morning. You don't just rush up in my scope and say I look like Uncle Phil and don't think you're gonna catch the smooth block. I don't know if that's an insult or not. Anyway, guys, I believe that the message. Thank you so much. Oh yes, I'm about to get to that too. I'm a publisher, and that's the other part too. Is I publish works of arts from authors, and I work with authors. To get the word out. I don't do street fiction unless it has a strong, powerful message, because I'm not going to put out stuff filled with language that I'm not cool with. I don't do erotica because I'm not a promoter of just sexing for no reason. You got to give me, it's got to be connected to something that is, because we're a faith-based, hello, from Kenya, oh, respect. We're a faith-based company, but the idea is I write and I promote what I want to see in the world, because I am of the belief that you can't call out to the darkness from the outside. If you're going to fight the darkness, you're going to have to go in there with your light. But understand this, a small amount of light will illuminate for miles, but you can't do it on the outside. You have to be in the mix. So when people say, well, KL, what are you doing? I have taught for almost 20 years. I have written 3 books. I have published through my company 28, 3 of my own, so that's 25. God has given me new ideas for teaching the younger. Of course, if I can help you, reach out, because I've taught elementary. I'm teaching elementary school right now. I've taught middle school. I've taught high school. I've had some college kids I sit with. It is about, and actually I teach grown men too, because I've had to mentor grown men. I've been a life coach who sits with grown men to try to help them figure out the court system. And a lot of it just has to do with the presentation of self. And so whatever I could do to help, reach out, because to me, it is not about money. It is about the message. But understand, I'm a professional too, because I do have a family to take care of. But we'll work all that out. Because that's my thing. It's funny. I think men in the world really need mentoring. The boy child is forgotten. The boy child, but the family structure is forgotten, Brother Will. The family structure is so fragmented that the boy child loses out because he doesn't have proper guidance. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. If I asked you to put a puzzle together and gave you all the pieces of the puzzle, most of us would look back at the box to see what the completed puzzle looks like, to understand what the puzzle piece, where the puzzle piece goes. But if I take away the cover, if I take away your example, if I take away the finished product, you might eventually finish this puzzle. But depending on how many pieces in it, most of us would quit because it becomes too difficult. So when you remove the finished product, when you remove the example, the road becomes treacherous. So most children, because they have not been taught resolve, quit. So hence the male child then looks for something else to play with. And most of the time what he chooses is something detrimental to himself and everyone around him. And then sadly, most men who leave their family stranded don't realize that they're removing that puzzle box. So there's no example. And the mother will do what she can, but when she's standing there trying to be an example as a mom, you have to be careful, because then, thank you so much, the child then projects himself to what he gets from the mother, and hence we have so many young men who have taken on feminine qualities, and their masculinity has declined. It hasn't disappeared, but it declines. Hence we have so many young men who have taken on female traits. And I can only tell you what I see in school. I see young men that don't know how to react to a male. In the school that I'm in, there's 1,000 kids. There's only 2 male teachers, 1 Caucasian man and myself. So how are these young men from kindergarten to 5th grade supposed to grow into the well-rounded men that they should be at an early age when there's no examples? And it's funny because I'm only here for this year, and I got parents and teachers begging me to stay, but unfortunately I have to take care of my family. I can't stay. I would love to. Is that this is the problem? Please stay. Well, how are we going to move to Delaware if I stay? The danger is when you remove that example, when you move that puzzle box, remove it. These young men, by the time they get to junior high school, and I see this as a former junior high school dean, there are certain behaviors, stupid. Okay, you have to explain to me what's stupid, but understand that smooth block may be my response. You have to understand that some of these men, when they get to junior high school, are lost on how to deal with actual discipline. They actually don't know how to deal with firm male teachers, because most of the male teachers that they're going to meet will probably be on the junior high school level, simply because, thank you so much, a lot of, since there is no men on the younger levels, they don't know how to deal with it, and then hence they get themselves into trouble that then permeates itself. And I'm sorry I was just trying to get my thoughts together. And so sadly, these young men come into junior high school, they now start getting in trouble, and then you hear this on a regular. I don't understand what's gotten into him. He was never like this before. Well, no, he wasn't. But because you never exposed him to continuous male connections, he now doesn't know how to deal with the discipline from a male, especially firm discipline, because he just came through almost 6 years of non-male presence. You can't be away from anything for 6 years and have a grasp. Of course, that's a non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable, and that should be your consideration before you even lay down to have sex. But unfortunately, too many of us are worried about the sex and not the outcome. Makes no sense. And that's the part. When you lay down with the woman as a male, you should already understand, if a child is conceived from this union, it is now your responsibility to take care of her and this child, because you invited her to have sex with you. That's your responsibility. You didn't. Our men today seem to be afraid. Well, they don't know how, baby. They don't know how. You cannot lead when you don't know how to give direction. You're going to have people behind you going, what are you doing? And they're going to look to supersede you. You're going to have a mutiny on your hands. Go to a job with poor leadership. Go to a job with poor supervision. Watch how quick the employees want to just mutiny. Because you don't want to be anywhere with poor leadership. You don't. But when you have sound and great leadership, yeah, people will still grumble, but you know what? They'll get in line. They'll do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, people going to grumble. Listen, there's people that can walk outside on a wonderful day and go, it might rain. Okay. But you know what? They'll still enjoy it. I am working on those workshops, but it is actually I'm working on webinars right now to get folks to come and let's have some private conversations away from scope. So I'm going to tell you what, if you send me emails, actually I'm going to, when I check the analytics of this scope, I'll send out my emails to everyone because I'm working on some webinars to discuss some of these various topics. And I do this on a regular anyway. I talk about what we need to do with our young men, what we need to do in relationships. Because my scopes are about three things. Let me tell you this right now before I go. My scopes are going to be about relationships in whatever form or fashion, husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father, the literary industry because I'm an author and publisher, and they're going to be about education. Yes, please. And actually, tell you what, everyone that is on the scope, please put your email in the comment box because when I go back to check the analytics, I'll be able to get everyone's email. And what I'll do is, once I have some time, I will I'll send everyone a thank you first of all, and then I'll try to send out an email just to connect. So this way, if you need to reach me, well, you know why they're emasculating a lot of the men? Because the leadership has been so weak that no one wants to follow someone that doesn't get it. And women are so frustrated with having to do so much by themselves that why would they want to bother with weak men? Thank you so much. Keep the emails coming. They don't want to be bothered. And so sadly, the good men who are actually trying to do right run into some of these women, and it's not the women's fault. They done dealt with, listen, I tell anybody this, go to a party. Go to a nightclub. Go to anywhere where people are being festive and there might be some spirits. Watch how many thirsty dudes are being outright disrespectful to women. Walking up and saying, yo, B-I-T-C-H, oh my God, look at your butt. Oh my God, look at your breath. Oh my God, can I do whatever to you? Just sit and listen like I do. And then ask yourself, if she's dealing with this every day, because she is. She's dealing with it at the bus stop. She's dealing with it at the laundry. She's dealing with it when she's picking the kids up from the daycare. The thirsty dudes are so readily available that they hear such foolishness every day that when you offer a simple comment like, I like your hair, some don't know how to react. And it's not that they're being disrespectful. It's that they have an automatic defense in place because of the thirsty dude. Because the thirsty dude is going to say, I like your hair. Then he's going to try to work it into how he can sleep with her. But as men, we have to understand that our thirsty counterparts are out there. And we have to offer healing to our sisters without making it something sexual or some type of conquest. So what that means is when you say, I like your hair, and she says, have a nice day anyway, sister. Hold the door open for her and say, have a wonderful day. And do not get offended if she doesn't respond. You continue to do it. When a sister is doing something, congratulate her. Tell her, I like what you're doing. Give her a good word. Give her a calming word. Give her a word that she can at least say, every time I see that dude, he says something nice to me and doesn't want anything. Because after a while, they're going to respond because inside them, they're going to say, there's something good about him. There's something right about him. And when they come over and want to talk, men, and this is very, very important, some of our women are broken. So when they come to want to speak, remember, it is not about conquest. Do not take advantage of them because you can. Heal them. Heal them. When they come over and say, oh, everything good with you? Yeah. So you married? Yes, I am. And say it with a smile. Don't say, oh, yeah, I'm married. No. Do not leave any gates open. But invite them in to sit down and let's heal. So how you doing today, sister? Because I know you must go through it a lot. Oh, you have no idea. Yes, I know. Be the healing example. Be that good dude. Wow, that's my take. Yeah, because thank you, brother. I'm so glad you said that. But unfortunately, too many brothers are taught conquest, and so too many sisters are taught defend against the conquest. So everybody's in a defensive posture, like the prelude to war. So now we're just waiting for someone to make a mistake, and we're at all-out war. Somebody has to be the peacemaker. Somebody has to be the light for that to change. Someone has to sit down with our sisters and say, I don't want anything from you but to see you better, to see you healed. And they have to look at you like, and you don't want nothing? No, just you doing better is good. And then we have to offer the same to the men. Brother, let me holler at you a second. Now understand that it's not going to be as open and as connected with the men, because you're going to start to tap into emotions that some men don't know how to deal with. They'll be like, what you after? Good morning. What you after? Why you want to talk to me? Brother, I'm just saying, can I holler at you a second? The way you spoke to that sister is real disrespectful, man. And you have to try to bring up some type of connection that'll make that man at least back away from that particular action. Now, with dudes, it's a little harder simply because the testosterone level breeds that fury. And to get through testosterone, you got to be careful not to try to add your own, because now you're in a conflict that you don't want to be in over something that started as a way to try to help someone. You don't want to do that. So with our women, you have to be that hand. You have to be that support. Reach your hand out and say, can I help you? And if she says no, no problem. We don't do that. We don't say, how are you doing today? Good morning. I work in a building full of women. So I compliment everyone. I say hello to everyone. But I'm in the same place every day. And it's funny because the women have started to gravitate to say good morning to me, hello to me, when they didn't know me. And it has nothing to do with color, because there's many white women and black women that speak to me. Because after a while, it's like, he doesn't want nothing. He doesn't follow up with, so, no, I don't want anything. I'm happy at home. But what I am unhappy about is when I see a woman burdened, when I see a woman in pain, and know that someone like me caused that. Because I say this all the time, because of my past, I owe God for what I've done. So because I owe God, the only way I can pay God back is to try to heal as many people who are being damaged by the man like I used to be. Hence, that's what I say, from Gigolo to Jesus. That's what my book is about. It's about trying to be more of the man that I am right now, and not being that man that I was, and then allowing other people to understand how this man now lives his life. And it's funny, when people meet me now and then they read my book, they can't believe that I'm that dude that they read in the book. They actually are shocked. Like, yes, I was as horrible as a man could be. But who makes the best teachers? The drug addicts, former drug addicts. Who makes the best counselors? Weight loss counselors, people who have been fat. Brave and Publishing, you still on there? Brave and Publishing. My wife will put the link up in a second. But what we have to do, and I'm going to get ready to jump off because, like I said, I'm out of town right now. I'm getting ready to get out and do some running around. What we have to do is we have to commit ourselves to the changes that we want to see. Yeah, there it is right there. That's my website. All my books are there. And any of my scopes, if you want to watch any of my previous scopes, it's Catch, K-A-T-C-H, catch.com, /KLBELVIN. So all of my scopes are there. Also, KLBELVIN.blogspot.com is my blog. So I put some of my scopes there too. But we have to, you're welcome, you have to want to see. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. And we have to be that. We have to be. That's my blog. There's some of my scopes are on there also. And I'm on Facebook. Actually, I'm getting ready to close this out in a minute. So let me say this. As men, it is our responsibility to try to heal the damage that's done by other men. Because if we don't fix it, it's only going to come back to affect us in some way, whether with our daughters, our sisters, our mothers, our wives, whoever. And as men, we have to take the lead to be able to show the women that are out here that not all of us are what many of us appear to be. But we have to make sure that we stay grounded in the Lord, that we don't make it become a vanity situation. Because one of the things that I did when I was running the streets was I understood pain. So I manipulated that pain for me to get what I wanted. I made the pain appear to be fixable by dealing with me, because I was different than what someone else dealt with, when in actuality I had no want to heal. I was all about conquest. Conquest as a man has to be replaced with healing. But you must humble yourself first. You must humble yourself first to understand that you are a servant. Let me say that again. You must humble yourself to understand that you are a servant to others. And it is your job to heal as many as you can through the godly actions that you give to this world. And if you are in church every Sunday, God bless you. But then who are you around the other 6 days of the week who may need healing? Do they understand the God in you to be able to help them release the pain in them? Because that's the only way to do it. You have to give people, thank you so much, brother. You have to give people reason to release their pain. Why would someone who's fragile after being hurt come to you, open up to you, unless you've given them reason to release that pain? And when they release it, you got to heal it with something else. I said this earlier in this scope. A hug is the way of me taking my energy from my heart to help heal the energy or missing energy in your heart. Because when a hug is real, it's a transfer of comfortable emotions to the one who is hurt, and a way of saying, I got you. I got you. I don't want nothing from you. I got you. But we have gotten to the point that we are scared to hug. We have gotten to the point that we are scared. I know you got me. We are scared to show true emotion. Well, to counter the pain that people are in, we have to offer honest and godly emotion. Be that light. So with that said, I thank all of you who have stayed on with me. I thank you all that who came and left. I will go back, and again, if you have not, please drop your email address. Please drop your emailed address in the comments, because when I go back to look at the analytics, I will see everyone's email address, and I'll be able to transfer that over, and I'll send out a thank you email. That's my lovely wife, my partner in crime. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has taken the time out to share, who has taken the time out to give hearts, who has taken the time out to indulge in conversation. Shout out to Regina Poole, Odis Bellinger, because June 4th, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Yes, she is beautiful, inside and out. I'll be in Detroit June 4th, doing exactly what I'm doing here on the Scope, but live at Wayne State University, looking to heal the brothers and sisters that's going to come into the auditorium that night. March 19th, I believe I'm speaking at a literary luncheon. You're welcome. Oh, no problem. You're welcome. I'm speaking at a literary luncheon March 19th. I'll be in Chicago, I believe, in July. I just got to double check, at a book event, but I think I'm doing a couple of book signings in Chicago in July, and I'll be back down here in Delaware at the end of June. But if you have not, please put your email address up. My wife has given you my email address, but I'll give it again. My name is KLBELVIN. No, I do not speak French. Sorry. My name is KLBELVIN, and my website is www.bravenpublishing.com. My wife has posted it. My email is mainoffice@bravenpublishing.com. I am on Facebook, KLBELVIN, Twitter, KLBELVIN, Tumblr, KLBELVIN, Google+, KLBELVIN. You see the theme here. I am on pretty much all social networks. I am the author of 3 books, one poetry, second one is my testimony, and the third one is inspirational fiction. No, I'm not a preacher. I'm a teacher. Of the 5-fold ministries, mine is teaching. Too often we can't seem to get past prophet and evangelist and forget that there's actually 3 other fingers on the hand. We tend to get caught up in 2. but I am a teacher of the fivefold ministry. Teaching is what my ministry is. And I believe that we heal each other through sound teaching. I believe all the ministries are necessary, but I believe also that the church is just a building, but real church, exactly. Jesus taught more than he preached, amen. But I really believe that we have to come out of the buildings and reach people where they are. I believe that somehow the church has failed us in terms of the outreach. Yes, they're great when you get there, but if I never get to the rehab center, if I never get to the hospital, what happens? I die. And we have to become those ambulances. We have to become those workers who go out amongst the people who are sick and find a way to heal them, to bring light to them. And then final, to my sisters that are watching, I'm going to apologize for men that I don't know. I'm going to apologize for men that I do know. I'm going to apologize for the sons, boyfriends, fathers, husbands who got it wrong. But I will say this, sisters. Many of them got it wrong because they were never taught right. They know what they know. And you might have thought that they were different. You might have believed that they could be different. But in essence, you cannot understand something that you have actually never immersed yourself into. So in going forward, one of your focuses when meeting a man is talk about his past. Talk about his family structure. Talk about his road. He will look to dominate the conversation because he may not want you to understand some painful things about him. Hold your ground and get him to explain some things about himself, because that is where you'll start to see. Thank you so much. Please. Yes, we have to. We have to pray for healing, but we also have to be the healing. You know, too often we forget that God told Elijah, get out the cave. What you doing in here? Get on out, because you got to be out amongst people. What my talk show about? You'd have to watch the replay, brother. Fill all that in. It's not a talk show, but I got you. It's a broadcast. So I guess you're right. Yes, vulnerability is the key. And we have to make sure that, now I'm not saying stay with anybody that's negative, sisters. What I'm saying is we have to get men to be able to discuss things about themselves so you can make better choices in who you choose to be with, but also to maybe offer that an opportunity to fix. Now, I'm not trying to say heal men. No, because you may not be able to heal them, but have a conversation because it's a form of protection for yourself. Let us other dudes fix some of these other brothers out here. Because of testosterone, some men are not going to let go of what they think is right without sitting across from somebody who can actually acknowledge what's going on from their platform. One of the things when I'm discussing with mothers about their sons, I can maybe get further with your son than you can, only because as a male and female, there's a dynamic there that I can play into that you can't. Now, I'm not knocking anybody's way of how they raise their children. I'm just saying that sometimes what's necessary, you may not be able to give. And I'm not knocking anybody's parenting. But we have to be able to work together to do that. Yes, many of us have too much pride, but pride kills. But as the men who have humbled themselves to God, we must go out. And yes, we must learn better to do better. Yes, but we need examples. I try to push the men who get it. I always ask, how many men have you helped this week? How many people have you reached out to this week? And I've heard things like, please, I'm not reaching out to them. Ain't nobody reach out to me. No, let that go. I don't care if you've tried to save 100 and no one's reached out to you. You keep reaching. Because then it goes back to what they talk about the classroom. If you can save just one. I don't believe in saving just one. I believe you try to save as many that sit in front of you or die trying. So guys, it has been wonderful this morning. I appreciate all of you. What is your way of raising a boy? Oh my gosh. I don't even have time to scope that. That would be too long a scope to do. But what I would say, and I said this earlier, make sure that boy has examples, clear examples of what a man should be. Everyone needs a target to push themselves to. Yes, if someone helped you, you should help them, but exactly right. But to the person's question, you need positive examples, positive targets to go after. You need positive goals. So he needs manly goals to understand what a man should be. He should see what that is, and he needs guidance to become that. So when he falls, when he trips, when he messes up, he has someone to lift him up and then say, now get back into the race, because you are this. You are a young king developing into the king. You are a prince becoming a king. But he needs to see the kings first. He needs to understand that he is a king, a future king. He needs to understand that his value as a man is exponential. He needs to understand that he is gifted. He needs to understand that he is eventually somebody's father. And to be somebody's father, he needs to be an outstanding son. So what I would say, how I would raise a boy, is I would raise him to be the man that I would like to see this world have. Not the man that I would want if I was a woman. The man that I know this world needs. And find the guidance to support you in your efforts. That's why I don't knock single mothers. They got a job to do. But as men, we could assist them. As men, we can help. And in church, I don't care that there's more women in the church than men. Then the men that are there have to find ways to open up doors for these women to have help. I do it every day, love. I do it every day. I am out every day. When I am not teaching, I am out here on Periscope. I am every day. How old are my grands? I am old enough to go smooth block. What's our job as a church? Amen. I'm sorry, I got a kick out of it when people jump off the deep end. Just the scope is about one thing. They want to know, what color shoes you got on? Man, you know what? Block. I ain't got time. But anyway, guys, we have to actually come out of the churches. Serious business. We have to come out of the churches and reach people where they are. And our young folks are the missing commodity. I want to leave you with this. Thank you so much. And we need to do that. I want to leave you with this, and it's very, very important. Hitler said, I don't worry about their parents because I have their children. And as evil as Hitler was, he wasn't an idiot. He was a very intelligent man that did very evil things. But sometimes we have to look at the evil that men do to understand how we can counter that with positivity. But we have to listen when something is said that's formidable. It is the children. And God even said we have to come to him as children. So the power that we need to fix what's wrong is getting our children to understand what they need to be and get them started earlier, because then they become the wave of the next generation of what it's supposed to look like. Hence, when all the elders were dead, it was their children that moved forward to the promised land. We have to go back and fight to fix the view of our children. I have a 2-year-old, and I still don't know what I'm doing. I like to think I'm doing a good job. Then I have a 2-year-old little girl too, but I have actually 7 children. So here's what you need to do. Make sure that you have an idea of what you want your son to be, and make sure you're aligning the things that you need him to have. If you're reading to him daily, are you exposing him to video that is going to enhance him? Are you having those conversations with him, showing him examples, taking him places where he can be around other young men? Allow him to grow into the man that you know he can be, and then help him. Get guidance from other men around you. And if there's none around you, reach out to me and ask me questions. I'll help. Because we have to help each other, find a way to heal each other, and find a way to raise that young king to take his place as the future of your family name. So that way all coming after him know him only as a king, not what he was before. People know me as KLBELVIN now and have no idea what my past was, because I am the king that I attempt to be now, not the poor excuse of a man that I was before. But it takes digging in and being something different. And if I can help, reach out. Send me an email. I'll give advice. Everything is not about charging money. It's about trying to fix the problem. And we fix the problem by linking arms and saying, let's get in here and let's do it. As Pollyannic as that sounds, it's doable and possible. All right, guys, time for me to go. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for staying on with me. It is time to get my day going. I'm down here in Delaware. I got some things I got to do before I head back to New York tomorrow. I got some graduate work to do tonight, but got some things to do. So I am actually moving to Delaware in June and July. So once the school, once the school year is over, I am leaving New York and coming to Delaware. You know, the church uses scripture wrong. Train up a child, they think make him exactly. I definitely will. I definitely will. Maybe even tonight. I'll jump on something tonight. The church has gotten a lot of things wrong. And it says, raise a child up in what they should be. Allow the child to become who God created them to be. Well, you can send your questions to my email, mainoffice@bravenpublishing.com. Write down all your questions. And guys, if you just got on the scope, leave me your email in the comments and I will reach out to you just to say thank you. I'll be doing that anyway when I go back to check the analytics. But leave your email because I'll definitely add you to my email list so I can stay in touch with you. But yes, it talks about raise a child up the way they should be. See, we should not try to change who children are. We're supposed to enhance who they are. Too often, parents want children to become what they never became, and hence they're trying to change what God created. Allow your child to be what they are. Enhance their gifts. Yes, allow children to be who they are, because it is opposite God when you try to change a child. My child likes to sing, so I'm going to tell her to stop singing because it annoys me? No, it annoys me, but I'm like, sing, darling. So you know what? I start singing with her. Oh, no problem. Listen, that's what I'm here for. Definitely when it comes in terms of discipline, definitely reach out, send me an email, let me know who you are and how we met, and whatever I can do to help. This is what it's about. I definitely look forward to it. Maybe we can set something up to talk privately, of course. But that's what it's about. My daughter likes to sing. Go ahead and sing. My wife likes to let my daughter dress herself. The child will have on one boot. She got on a shirt as her drawers. And I'm like, honey, what? She's like, she's being independent. I just smile and go, come on, baby, you can do it. But you know what? She's now putting on her jacket. And she's not even 2 years old yet. She's now putting on her boots. She now comes over and tries to zip up my jacket. So we have to allow children to find who they are in a safe environment, not rule over them. But that's how, exactly. No, I do not speak French. They definitely express themselves. But we have to allow that expression, even if it's not something we're comfortable with, even if it's not something that we're used to. And then we have to find videos. And here's another thing, too. My daughter will watch Home from Disney, whatever, every day. She'll actually say, Boov, can I watch Boov? I'm like, yes. You know what? If you want to watch that 1,000 times, I'll watch it with you. Because if that's what she enjoys, okay, because it's not harming her. And I've watched the video and there's nothing undercurrent, there's nothing there. And she loves the singing of Jennifer Lopez and Rihanna. So my thing is, if that's what she loves and I deem it nothing that's going to be dangerous in my household. Now, there are some cartoons that are just not going to get played in my house. No. Yeah, SpongeBob and a couple others. But you have to pay attention to who your child is and give your child more opportunity to be who God created them to be. You are a steward, and look up the definition of steward. It is one who takes care of. You do not own your children. You should not rule over your children. You should take care of them, because a steward is one who takes care of. God blessed you with the opportunity to care for your children, because your job is to raise them up and eventually release them into the world to be who God made them to be. If you intertwine with that and cause that child to go in a different direction, then you need to see what the Lord says. When you cause a child to sin, the Lord actually says you should kill yourself. It says tie a millstone around your neck and throw yourself into the ocean if you cause a child to sin. Well, there's no greater sin than taking a child in a different direction than what God created them to go. That is how we're supposed to use Scripture. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are not supposed to beat each other over the head over scriptures. We are supposed to show how scriptures apply to real life. That is the essence of everything that I do. Provoke, there you go, there's the other one. Provoke children not to wrath, because it is in those moments that children will do things that are so stupid. And as parents, we're not supposed to push our children into anger situations where they do things out of stupidity because they don't have the knowledge or the control of the anger that you caused. Now, that doesn't mean that your children are always going to like you. That doesn't mean you become your children's best friend, because discipline sometimes is going to come in a form of a chafing that a child may not like. But you cannot just do things that you know are wrong to your child because it's right for you. But that's a whole nother scope for another day. As parents, I'll definitely, you know what, maybe I'll talk about that later on this evening when I get in tonight after I finish up some work. But guys, before I go, I demand a heart party if you liked what you heard today. Come on, let's go. If you thought that today was interesting, if you enjoyed what you heard today, let's get that heart party going on the side. Tap that screen for about a hot minute before I sign off. Let's go. I want to see how many colors we got. We got it. We got light blue. I got purple go up. Red. Let's go. Let's keep the heart party going. Because I get a kick out of those scopes when I just see hearts flowing up and down. I don't know. I'm a heart pimp. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You know, oh, that's music. Let's go. No. Thank you so much, guys. Let's go. There we go. There we go. If you just joined in, there's a heart party going on. You missed an outstanding scope. Please go back and watch the replay and reach out to me with any thoughts. And please leave your email in the comments. That way I can get back in touch with you. Let's go. About 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Let's count it down like I do with my students. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26. Come on, let's keep it going. 22. Come on, let's go. We got a 20 more seconds. Let's go. Let's keep the hard party going for another 15 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. This is the only what is that when the plate go around? Offering. Yeah, this is the offering. This is what I'm charging. This is when the offering. Here's the offering plate. Let's go. Let's go. This is my offering plate. I want Hearthstone in my offering plate. Let's go. You know, let's turn the music up like they do in church. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. And I'm not knocking church. I love church. I just wish more folks would come out. 5 seconds left. Let's go hard. Let's tap that screen. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm going to tell you what. 3, 2, and 1. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Y'all have made my day. Shout out to Odis Bellinger. Shout out to Regina Poole. Shout out to everyone that stayed on the scope. I look forward to hearing from you. You will hear from me. I'll probably be on later on tonight. Probably after 8, after 9 if you're up. Yeah, probably after 8, after 9. I got some work to do. But I'll probably jump on and we'll talk about, let's say, this parenting thing. We'll figure out something. No, thank you. Thank you for coming by. And thank everyone for coming by. Have a wonderful day, guys. God bless and be safe.